Okay, so prior to today, we've had 3 ways of graphing lines. We've made a table, we've used the x and y intercepts when it was in standard form, and then we used slope intercept, y equals mx plus b. And so the new one today is going to be point slope, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. M is the slope, and x sub 1, y sub 1 is a point on the line. Yes, Lisa?
Was that a worksheet to do that?
That was notes from previously, and so you just had to add the circle to it for today. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do today is we are going to graph lines if we're given a point and the slope. So this is almost identical to what we were doing with the y equals mx plus b. It's just now, instead of starting on the y-axis, we're starting on the point that they gave us. So step 1 is you're going to start at the given point. And step 2 is that you will then use the slope to find more points. Okay, so the point that they gave us was 2, 1. So I go to 2, 1 on the graph. And then I'm going to use my slope of 2, which I'll make it 2 over 1. 2 is my rise, 1 is my run. So I go up 2 over 1 and get a new point, and I'll do that again. And so then you would just graph the line through those 3 points. So again, it's almost exactly like what we were doing before, just now we're starting on a point instead of on the y-axis. Okay, so you guys get to do one on your whiteboards. I want you to graph with a slope of -1, the line that contains the point 2, -2. Okay, so you were supposed to start at the point 2, -2, and the slope is -1, so you go down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. So that's what your line should have looked like. Questions? Okay. All right, this one is for your notes. Okay, so you have a slope of 0 and a point 4, -3. So if my slope is 0, I can think of it as 0 over 1 for my rise over my run. So I start at 4, -3, and my slope is, my rise is 0, so I'm not going to go up at all, am I? I'm just going to go to the right one. And I can go backwards 1 also if I want to have 3 points. And so this ends up being a horizontal line, which you may recall when the slope is equal to 0, it's not undefined, it's horizontal. Horizontal means the slope is 0. If you have an undefined slope, that's when you have a vertical line. Okay? So a slope of 0 is horizontal, an undefined slope is vertical. You guys remember that now? Okay. Okay, so on your whiteboards, I want you to graph a line with a slope that's undefined and contains the point 2, -2. Okay, so what did we just say it means when the slope is undefined? The line is vertical. So I start at the point 2, -2, and I just make a vertical line that goes through that point. Okay. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is writing equations in point-slope form. So the point slope form is y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. So you need to memorize this equation. You just have to memorize it. Okay, so just like before, m stands for slope. And x sub 1, y sub 1 is a point that's on the line. So for example, if I'm given a slope of 1/6 and a point 5,1, I'm going to use my equation y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So my slope is m, it's 1/6. And what's the x coordinate of the point they gave me? It's 5, so x sub 1 is 5. And then my y coordinate is 1, and so y sub 1 is 1. So wherever y sub 1 is, I'm going to put a 1. And where the m is, I'm going to put 1/6. And where the x sub 1 is, I'm going to put a 5. So you just plug it directly into the equation. So y minus 1 equals 1/6 times x minus 5. And that's your equation in point slope form. So for right now, that's all you're going to have to do. Tomorrow we're going to go further with it, but for today, and on your homework tonight, you just have to give me the equation in point slope form. And so that would be the answer in point slope form. Are there any questions?
So
Tomorrow we're going to get y alone, yeah. Yeah. But today, for now, I just want you to get used to using point slope. Okay, so on your whiteboards, give me the point slope equation if the slope is -2 and the point is -1,3. Okay, so it looks like most of you had it. We put a 3 in for the y sub 1. The slope was -2. And then x minus a -1. So some of you left it that way, and that's okay. But you can go ahead and at least simplify. Minus a negative is the same as adding, so it would be y minus 3 equals -2 times the quantity x plus 1. Okay, any questions there? All right, this next one is for your notes. So for this one, we have a slope of -4. So that's my m. And then the point is 0, 3, so that's my x sub 1, y sub 1. So if I plug it in, I have y minus 3 equals -4 times x minus 0. And it's okay to leave it that way for your answer, but if you want to, because x minus 0 is the same as x, you can rewrite it y minus 3 equals -4x, because -4 times 0 is 0, and that would just go away. So once you have that written down on your whiteboards, I want you to do the equation of a line with a slope of 1/2 going through the point 6, 0. Okay, so what I was looking for was y minus 0 equals 1/2 times x minus 6. And then since it's y minus 0, you can just write y equals 1/2 times the quantity x minus 6. Okay. All right, so next we are going to write the equation and then graph it. So for this example, I'm going to write the equation of a line with a slope of -1/2, and it contains the point 64. So again, it's y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So y sub 1 is what, everybody?
4.
Everybody, what is it? 4, yes. And everybody, what's my slope?
-1/2.
And everybody, what is x sub 1?
4 or 6.
It's 6, yes. Okay. So I have y minus 4 equals -1/2 times x minus 6. And then to graph it, I just go to a positive 6, 4. And I use my slope of -1/2. So I go down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2. And so that's what your graph should look like. Any questions?
Can you do this again? Can you graph it again?
Okay, I'll graph it over. I'm starting at the point 6, -4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. I started there. And then I use my slope of -1/2, which means I go down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. Okay, so on your whiteboards, I want you to first write the equation. So before you graph it, show me what you have for the equation, and then after I say you have it correct, go ahead and graph it. Okay, so you started, we had y plus 4 equals 1 times x plus 1. You started at a -1, -4, and you went up 1 to the right 1. Okay, I have one more example I have to show you. Okay, so for some problems you're going to be given just the equation in point-slope form, and you have to figure out how to graph it. You have to figure out what x sub 1, y sub 1 was. So if I look at this example, what is my x sub 1 going to be? It says x plus 1, but the formula is supposed to be x minus 1. So what's that mean that that 1 was? It used to be a -1. And then because it says -3, that means it was a +3. And then I can see that my slope is 2/3. So I'm going to start at -1, +3, and then I will go up 2 and to the right 3. Up 2 and to the right 3. And that's how you graph that line. So this is one for your whiteboards. First, show me the point. Before you do anything, at least show me on your whiteboards what your x sub 1, y sub 1 was. Okay, so x sub 1, y sub 1. The x had to have been negative, so it was -4. And the y had to have been negative, it was -2. And your slope is a -3/2. So we start at a -4, -2, and we use our slope of -3/2. We go down 3 and to the right 2. Down 3 and to the right 2. And then you draw the line. This concludes the video.